You have to remember why you started. You are going to have beautiful days and some not so beautiful days. But what is going to keep you going is to remember why you started. Hey, 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 welcome to the very first edition of 10 Minutes on Tuesday with Dr. Nefertiti Pointer, who is me. If this is our first time meeting, I'm so glad you had an opportunity to just get here. I don't know how you got here, but I'm so excited. Again, my name is Dr. Nefertiti Pointer. I have been dedicating my life to babies, toddlers, preschoolers, and their families for years. And along with that dedication, also comes a dedication to the workforce. I started off in a preschool classroom in Philadelphia. I love me some 4-year-olds. They're my favorite humans on the planet. And again, this space, every Tuesday, we're going to drop some new nuggets. I'm calling it my onboarding series. But again, as I look through my notes and what I have coming up, I think that this is not just for new people to the field. This could be for anybody. And I also think it's not just for those of us in early care and education. It can really go beyond that those of us who care for babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock because I promise you I will never take any more than 10 minutes. But welcome to my onboarding series. Tuesdays, 10 minutes. Let's do it. All right. So I've got a question for you. I've got a question. I won't always have questions, but this day I got a question. Who is your legacy educator? Who is your legacy educator? You know what I mean when I say that? Okay, so here's what I mean. Who inspires you to get up in the morning and go into a classroom and make a difference in the life of a child or a family? If you're listening to me as a leader, if you're listening to me as another related stakeholder, how'd you get here? Who set the example for you that said, I want to do that when I grow up? Who is your legacy educator? So let me tell you something about me. I've always wanted to be a good teacher. Always. And so I used to pretend to be a teacher. I could spend hours in my room pretending to be either Miss Taylor or Miss Richardson. Both of those educators were as mean as can be. Miss Taylor was my second grade teacher. Miss Richardson was my fifth grade teacher. They were both just as mean as they could be to me. So you say, well, Nefertiti, why is that something I might want to remember? Well, Miss Taylor said to me, Nefertiti, because at this stage of my life, I'm going to remediation for reading. And she told me, you don't belong in there. She said, now get yourself in there, show them what you know, and make it that you never have to leave this classroom again. Okay, Miss Taylor, I'm going to do that. Okay, Miss Taylor, I'm going to do that. And then Miss Richardson was my fifth grade teacher. Again, just as mean as she could be to me as a fifth grader. But she taught with love. I mean, she had very high standards, but she taught with love. And so I remember those two people fondly. Who is your legacy educator? Who set the example for you that helps you go into the classroom to our programs and aspire to be? Who is that person? Let me tell you something else that happened to me when I was studying. I was working on my master's degree at Chestnut Hill College, and I was late because I had to do parent-teacher conferences, and my teacher knew that. She knew I was going to be late, and so by the time I got there, I understood that everybody was supposed to select a book, and she said, "Nefertiti, here's your book." And I'm like, well, am I because I'm late? I have to use the book you gave me. Why can't I pick my own book? There's still a few books on this table. Why I have to pick why are you picking my book? That's what I said. And she said, I think this is a person who you should get to know. And so I looked down at the book, and the book was by Marva Collins. I don't know Marva Collins. Who is this person? But I trust my educator. And she said, this is somebody who I think you should get to know. Colleagues, my legacy educator is Marva Collins. Marva Collins was a school teacher in South Side of Chicago. I didn't grow up in Chicago. I grew up in Philadelphia, but I kind of know what it may feel like to work with children who don't always get the advantage of good teachers, who have some things they've got to work through in order to be a ready learner. I understand that. That was my life. That's what I knew, and my teacher knew that. So I knew better. I better understood why she suggested this book to me. But colleagues, as I unfolded the pages of Marva Collins, I started to feel like I wasn't alone because Marva Collins understood and I understood from her work that having children sit down and read in ABCs and one, two, threes, that's just part of what we do. But some of our babies come in with just a poor sense of self-esteem and self-worth from where they're coming from. They don't feel that they're worthy. They don't feel that they're enough. They're disheveled. They're just not ready learners. And from the very early on in my teaching career, I wanted to make sure children felt ready to learn, but from the inside first. From the inside first. And colleagues, as I unfolded the pages of Dr. Marva Collins, I was so, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I just, they say if you could meet somebody who was dead or alive, who would you meet? It would have been her for sure, for sure, for sure. um, she started a school in her home because she did not like what the school system was doing. Two presidents wanted her to be their secretaries of education, and she said, "No, thank you." She said, "I feel my skills are better served back at home with the children of the South Side of Chicago." Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. Um, Before my 10 minutes are up, I again ask you, who is your legacy educator? And you may still be looking at me like, Nefertiti, I'm just doing this right now because I'm just doing it. Listen, it's okay. I understand sometimes things have to happen that way. But maybe you're listening to me for a reason because you are starting to say, there is some value in this work of early care and education. You're starting to recognize what other people don't even understand, that we are shaping the rest of somebody's life. And we get that first, the beautiful birth all the way up to age 8 is what we call early care and education. We are getting those babies right now. It's a beautiful thing. But I wanted to share with you why I chose Marva Collins and still do. I may not be in the classroom anymore, but she's still, when I think about legislation, when I think about my coaching, when I think about my technical assistance, because that is what I do now for the company that I'm leading. We're going into schools, we're going into programs, we're talking about bringing joy back to the work, and we're starting a conversation with people everywhere about things that just can make this work feel as important as it should be. I know some part of today has felt like, I don't know if I can do this again tomorrow. I understand. But that's why you and I both need a legacy educator. And that's what I'm calling it. You could give it another title, but that's what I'm calling it, my legacy educator. Let me show you just what in the Marva Collins way, some of the things that were important to her that I adopted in my teaching practices. And again, we talk about it in my coaching and technical assistance and professional development. Faith is number one. She says, faith, just as faith moves mountain, faith in our students to bring out in them things that they never saw in themselves. You are working with a family that may come from a very difficult situation. You can be the light of faith for that family and help them build on who they are and who they're becoming. So there we go with that. Harvesting, making every day a great student harvest day. You're planting seeds. And I've been saying this in my presentations lately. Remember, some of us are planting seeds that are going to grow into trees that produce shade that we don't get to feel. Let me say it again before this clock runs out. Some of us are going to plant a harvest, but it is going to produce a tree. And that tree is going to be, a beautiful something to see. But it's also going to generate shade that you and I aren't going to get to feel. But that's okay because our children, our children's children, our children's children, they will get to feel it. It's about legacy, y'all. It's about legacy. So one of the important parts that I've always taken away from the work of Marva Collins is harvesting, faithfulness, teach even the least of them. Oh, I got a lot of stuff down here. So check out the notes for this show. I'll show you just some other things you can learn about Marva Collins. Maybe she can become your legacy educator, because before my time runs out, I do want to charge you now. If you listen to me and you say, gosh, Nefertiti, I never thought about it. I don't know. It's okay. You're still listening. So now your task is maybe look in your family. Maybe this person isn't a teacher by title, but they sure have been imparting some education to you. So they've been your teacher. How do they do it? What do they do that you want to adopt in your teaching practices, your leadership practices? Maybe there's some philosophers, some people who we still use their supports in our curriculum. Maybe Maria Montessori, Piaget. Maybe those people are who you're aspiring to create environments for. It's time to find your legacy educator and to use the spirit of that person to make the classroom, the program, a better place. Welcome to 10 Minutes on Tuesday. This is my onboarding series for those of us who are new to the field. But like I said, I think this could be for you too, even if you're not new to the field. So you know how we do this stuff over here on YouTube. If you liked it, share it, click the subscribe button, do all those things. You know how YouTube works. But most importantly, always look here for your 10 Minutes on Tuesday. Let's get this right. One day, one moment at a time. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am Dr. Nefertiti Pointer. I look forward to seeing you on our next 10 Minutes on Tuesday.